What were we going to talk about? Just being at the final table. So Wayne and I final tabled the Big Bet Mix, and we managed to go 1 and 2. We've played probably 30 tournaments.
I'd say at least 25.
Yeah, without both of us cashing. Usually he cashes or I cash, or neither of us cash. We were really fortunate on Sunday, not just the final table, but to go 1 and 2. So, what did you think about that experience? I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I was short stacked. Like when we were down to, I think final 3 tables, or maybe it was 2. I had a hand where I was so short stacked it was deuce to 7 single draw, which I've only played once, but I had a queen draw, not even that good of a queen draw. I was like, all right, I just gotta go with it. I had maybe four blinds, and I shipped it in, and the guy called me with a jack draw. We both had 1 card to draw, obviously, and I hit mine, and then he luckily paired. But if I lose that, I don't even make the money. And then from there, I chipped up, and had a couple good hands, and I only had 200 when we got to the final table. But Josh was the chip leader, so we kind of figured he was going to be in the final 2-3, because he just kind of had to coast. Not coast, but he didn't really have to chip up as much as some other people.
Yeah, all my entire stack, I was in for on the 4th or 5th hand, I was all in, rebought, and I think even before the first break, starting stack was 30K. Yeah. Before the first break, which is the first 2 hours, I had almost 200K in front of me, and after that, I could just tighten up a little bit, apply pressure when I needed to, and I ended up coming to the final table with 400,000 or something. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because when I was at 200K, I even said to myself, well, we've got 50 people in this tournament. This is going to be a big enough stack to get to the final table. Mm-hmm. And it was easy how I could just kind of coast in there, and you play short stacks really well, short stack poker, better than I do.
Yeah. That's how I play cash, and I was even saying a couple days ago that I don't think out of any of the deep runs I've ever made, I don't think I've ever been super. Yeah, I've never been super chip leader and just kind of coast in there. I've always worked the short stack, which is what I did this tournament. Just kind of chipped up, picked my spots, and in tournaments past, I would almost play passively in spots, trying to just let me ladder up and make a few 100 more here, maybe 1,000 more here. But this tournament, we were on the bubble with 2 tables of 4, because it's a 6-handed game. They ended up agreeing to do a 7-handed final table. We had 2 tables of 4, so we're on the stone bubble, and I'm just sitting there I'm the short stack, so I'm not going to just sit around and just get kind of withered away. I'm going to go for it. So I had a couple hands where I just said I'm just going to go for it, try to build a stack, and fortunately it worked out. So
well, and it's funny because how you win a tournament, it can be different for different people. Whether it's being used to playing a short stack really well, or me in my situation, I play a big stack really well. So when I build up a big stack in a tournament, it's really likely that I'm going to get there unless I blow up. Where Wayne, you just can never count him out, even if he's down to 4 or 5 blinds, and here he ships it. So it just kind of shows you guys that even if you're down to a tournament, I think one of the things that I realized, there's a tournament player, I think his name is David or Dave, the guy with 2 dogs. I think
Gabe.
It's Gabe.
Gabe, yeah.
And there was a deuce to 7 triple draw hand where I had an 8 smooth after I drew 2. I drew 2 on the first one, and then I drew 1, and he bet literally 20,000 of his stack, and he only had 5,000 more, and I put them all in, and the guy went in the tank forever and ended up mucking it. He made the correct laydown because I had 2 7s and 2 deuces go through my hand, so it's really unlikely he's going to beat an 8 smooth. But the other guy that was a crusher, the guy that was to my right at the final table, Yuval.
He's essentially a local legend. I think he might be top 3 in Hollywood Hard Rock all-time wins here. I think he maybe has 8 titles. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know if that's wrong, but I know he's shipped a bunch of these.
Yeah, and he was incredibly hard to get chips from.
Yeah.
He really took his time a lot. He even on the final table, when you put them all in, he still debated, and he had a wheel draw, 2, 3, 4, 5, because he knows he's drawn to a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, pretty much. But that was murderer's row of a final table. I swear. I mean,
No,
there
it's
was
not
no
easy.
like normally you get to a final table and you're like, okay, there's a couple people that just maybe lucked into getting here, but not this final table. Everyone was a crusher. That's probably why we were 6-handed for like 3 hours.
6-handed for 3 hours, and you and I got it all in when we were still 7-handed and an 08 hand.
Yeah.
Deuce, or was it? Yeah, it was deuce.
9 or 8 4. No, I'm sorry,
8-4
8 5 3. Because I had
8-5-3.
ace 4 deuce.
Yeah.
And I bet, and I knew he had like an ace deuce with a better high than me, but I can't ever fold ace 4 deuce. Obviously, I know I'm no matter what getting at least a quarter. So luckily the 4 spiked the river to give me half. But no, it was a great experience, and I even learned a little bit about myself as far as hold'em. With a couple of those hands, the ace queen hand that I had, that was one that I'll definitely remember for a while.
If you guys haven't seen his video on his call with the ace queen high, it's by far probably one of the best calls I've seen made in hold'em in I don't know how long. It's been a really long time. That was a super stellar call from somebody who hates, I shouldn't say hates hold'em, but somebody who doesn't enjoy hold'em.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't enjoy
he
hold'em
knew
very
that too,
often either. But yeah,
he knew that too. Smart by him. We were joking the whole night, like, oh, let's take this hold'em plaque because there's a plaque on the table that signifies to the dealer which game we're playing. So I said, oh, let's just take this hold'em plaque and throw it in the trash because I think there was maybe only 1 or 2 times that hold'em was called the entire tournament, but then that guy obviously knew that Josh and I are primarily PLO players, so he knows, okay, these guys probably don't know hold'em that well.
Yeah.
And I knew he kind of called that, targeting us.
Oh, when he called it, he slammed it down on the table and he's like, let's go, boys. When we were 3-handed, and I was just like, oh, okay. Half expecting. So,
but that was a really cool experience. As I've said, Hard Rock here in Hollywood, with the exception of the WSOP, because that's always going to be number one. Even if they weren't well run over there, which they are, but even if they weren't, it would essentially be number one by default because it's the series.
Sure.
But here has the best mixed game tournaments, especially in the country. Like I've mentioned, they do a great job of. There's a mixed game tournament every day. And then also what they do really well is they bracket the tournament. So one day we played
$400 PLO at night. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we played the
Got
Badugi.
down to 30 on that one.
We played the Badugi. We both basically bubbled, and then we maxed late reg the PLO 5 bounty. I ended up min cashing in that, but they do a really good job. So even if you bust out, you can essentially enter the other one, and all their series are 2-3 weeks, and they're just kind of action packed the entire time. So
yeah, and they do an excellent job, like you said, stacking them. You can have a tournament at 10, noon, 2, 4. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are into tournaments, and then not only tournaments but cash games, if you guys are into cash games, maybe not necessarily the 2-5 no limit, because we do have we have Premium Hand Sean, who's a no limit grinder. He said the 5-10 was much better than the 2-5. So if you're coming to Hollywood Hard Rock and you're looking to play hold'em, either go with 1-3 or 5-10. I know that's kind of a big jump, but sometimes you have to move in stakes to get juicier games.
Yeah, for sure.
But the PLO here is great. I just wish that they had 5-5 PLO 4, but we keep starting a list for that. We have had Big O twice in the last week, which is good, Big O cash. Mm-hmm. But it tends to break at 9 or 10 o'clock, so when everybody needs to go home and go to sleep or take their medicine, the game breaks, even if more players are coming, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
At least they have it.
Really fun. I enjoyed the heads up because obviously I don't really play heads up ever. I've only ever been in that situation one other time. I was fortunate that I won that one, but heads up, obviously a completely different game. Your ranges are significantly wider, of course. But I had a lot of fun. We kind of just varied some of the games we played. So.
Yeah, and not only that, but when did we finish at 3 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
So. It's one of those things where, the payout between first and second or first and third is so dramatic, but it's really important that you maintain your focus towards the end because that's where the biggest pay jumps are going to be. So that's just something to take. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And it's easier said than done. I know I was struggling there hour 10 when we were still 6-handed. I had one of our buddies, Sean, he ended up grab me a piece of pizza because I was starving because we had a 10-minute break. But I actually ended up getting involved in a hand like with 30 seconds left on the clock, and it literally ran 6 minutes into the break. So I had like 4 minutes. I barely had time to go run to the bathroom real quick and collect my thoughts before we had to get back. So helps to have buddies joining you on these trips, you know, to run you
food when you're at the final table
exactly.
and you're starving and you're tired.
Exactly. So
no, I think it was a great experience. I think coming down here every 3 months is a good idea.
For sure, yeah. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely make plans. Their next trip is going to probably be, they don't release, it's not going to be released yet, but it's usually going to be
late July.
And we were here for that series last year, so yeah, it's going to be like the maybe last week of July into like the first week or two of August. So
that might be the only one we skip. I don't know yet, but
yeah, because the series.
Last time we were here, it was like 110. You couldn't spend more than a minute and a half outside your car. At least us fat guys couldn't. We could, but I mean, you know, it's way too warm for somebody from Michigan in July.
Yeah, so we might be burned out also from the series for being there pretty much all of June. So we'll see about that one. But if we don't make that one, we will for sure be here for the following one after that, which would be most likely in November.
Yes, over Thanksgiving.
It's big Thanksgiving time. Yeah, so definitely check it out. And another good experience here from the Hollywood Hard Rock.
Sweet. All right, everybody, play smart, run like a god.